Hello? There we go.
But it's always a surprise when, it's always a surprise when the tide comes in. When the tide comes in. But it's always a surprise when, it's always a surprise when the color again. Oh, I'm not supposed to enter around, I'm supposed to go. Silence and surround, got to let it go. I'm not supposed to enter around, not supposed to know. Silence and surround, got to let it go now.
I'm a multitasker, so when I also put on my makeup, drink my latte. Whoa, I smoke. Did you see this? If I do get it, your fault. Best multitasker. Ew, they
Paul Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. We've collected over $15 billion for our clients. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com. And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't want to try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
This is a first-rate town, but all you ever notice are the ways it stretched too far. And it has been knocked down, while some of us are still left here between the scars. But when you look around, all you ever notice is you cannot see the stars. This is a first-rate town, a first-rate town.
Hello everybody and welcome. Hello. There we go. As I was saying, the last time we had raced here for the trivia question, the last time Zealous Racing League has raced here at Suzuka was in Season 6 was the last time. Season 6, if you knew that, go ahead and give yourself a pat on the back. Congratulations. Anyways, penalties handed out for this race. For the Centurion class, Rivera with a 15-second penalty, Levernick with a 15-second penalty, and Pena with a 15-second penalty. Not fun for those guys here. Moving on to the Legionnaires class. Easton with a 15-second penalty. Yao with a 15-second penalty. And Collis with a 15-second penalty. In other news, Peter Hutchinson's number 44 changed cars from the Nissan to the McLaren 720S. Points penalty will be applied to this as a result. Juan Alves and Bruce Peterson joined the series from the reserve list tonight as Derek Stack, Simon Barity, Jonathan White, Sean Vinzund, and Rax Smile are all going to be missing tonight for sure. Expecting 36 drivers tonight, so still a pretty full track here. Still lots of racers going around. Should be an interesting one here at this tight, fast, very, very fast Suzuka Raceway. So obviously 36 drivers, still packed field here. Let's go ahead and take a look at these standings here. We'll go to driver that's on track so you guys aren't totally bored of just me talking. We'll go to Ricardo Rivera. So, speaking of Ricardo Rivera, he is leading the Legionnaires class here in first place with 51 points. 50 points for the race win, 1 extra point for the fastest lap. Sky Levernick in P2 there, in the number 52 Ferrari. As you can see, Rivera is in the number 787 McLaren 720S. Skylar Levernick in the number 52 Ferrari 296 GT3 with 40 points for second place last round. And in third place, Ebern Pena with the Porsche number 34, the Porsche 992 GT3 with 35 points for third place in the list. That rounds up your top 3 for race 1 in your Centurions class. Now moving on to the Legionnaires. In first place leads Kyle Easton with 50 points from the last race in the Mercedes AMG GT3. Toby Yao in second place in the number 9 McLaren 720S with 41 points, 40 points for finishing in second, and the 1 point for the fastest lap in that class. Moving on to P3, Sean Collins, and then number 138 Porsche 992. 35 points for finishing in 3rd place. That rounds up your podium places from the first race. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top 5. Why not? Show them a little bit of love here. Continuing on the Legionnaires class, Shim goes in the number 20 Lexus RCF for 32 points for finishing P4 in the first race. And Daniel Maderno in the Lamborghini Huracan GT3, 30 points for finishing 5th. Moving back onto the Centurions here after the top 3, you have Gage Gonzalez here in number 13 McLaren 720S with 32 points for finishing 4th place. And in 5th place, we have Cobra, also known as Ken, here in the Honda NSX GT3 with 30 points for finishing 5th place. That rounds up your top 5. Congratulations to those guys. I just said big shout out. Good race in the first race there at Silverstone. So, as we come from the United Kingdom all the way over to the beautiful cherry blossom trees here in Japan, we look to see more exciting racing. Practice is about to end. So, what do you guys expect from qualifying? I expect another close fight between Levernick and Rivera. Those two guys were battling it out, switching positions a couple of times during the Silverstone qualifying. I expect to see that again here heading into Suzuka's qualifying. Although Gonzalez, though, kind of out of the blue, as he was in 4th place in the standings, not in that podium places yet. But he, right now, has the fastest lap in qualifying. And let's see how much it's by. It's by 0.03 of a second. So, man, it is close between those top 2. If you are wondering how you can tell the difference between the Legionnaires and the Centurions class, well, obviously, the Centurions are the faster class. And they are in the white number by their name. And then the Legionnaires are in the gray, the dark gray, behind their number. That's how you can tell. So we'll be focusing on not only battles from separate classes, but morely on the classes or the battles inside their class to really focus on how they're doing relative to their opponents on the track. Now, Silverstone is one of my favorite tracks on the F1 calendar and on obviously the ZRL Racing League calendar. Let me show you why. We have this straight head into the left-hander that goes into, well, as we're speaking about Gonzalez and Levernick switching places, Levernick just takes it right back from it, and what a lap, up by 0.7 of a second. Wow, really putting the lap there. Purple in every single sector, improved in the purple. Green means improved lap time. Purple means fastest in every sector. Like, obviously, the first row is Sector 1, second row is Sector 2, and third row is Sector 3. And with 1 minute remaining, it looks like Levernick's going to have the fastest lap in practice. Let's take a look at somebody about to start a lap, or about midway through. We'll go ahead and take a look at Shim here. As you come to these S's, which are complicated, fun, and fast, they don't really pose an overtaking opportunity, but they keep everybody in check and like all clumps together. You know, some pack racing, almost NASCAR. They're gonna be so close together here. And then you have this fast right 90-degree angle under this tunnel right here after the second right 90-degree angle, and then into this little kind of right kink, and then in to the left hairpin. Left hairpin poses many overtaking opportunities here. And then obviously you have the long straight for the fight down the long straight, side by side, drafting, all that. It's going to play a key factor if you can hold it, stay alongside, or be with the guy in front of you. As we speak, qualifying has begun, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody rush it out as quick as they can. Let's see how it goes for these guys here. The first one out the pits seems to be Reed. Reed is going to be the first guy out of the pits here. Get to him in just a second here. So first on track here as he heads to the S's on his warm-up lap. So obviously here you're going to get the tires warm, get the brakes warm to prepare you for your hot lap, your qualifying lap, where you're going all out, pushing limits as much as you can. During these warm-up laps, where they're getting the car ready, these out laps here. But just really focus on the guys that you are looking to see in the race and how they train them, how they maybe perform, and how they get their cars ready. Maybe take some hints, some tips. I could definitely use some of those. I'm not that fast, guys. Trust me. But still love sim racing. Still love racing, and just a big fan to be feels good to be part of this community that we have here in Zealous. Speaking of which, this is the Zealous Galaxy Tour Season 12, where we have two sponsors we're very thankful for, SimGrid and Advanced Sim Racing. Thank you guys for sponsoring us. It always helps us out a little bit, and a little bit can go a long way, especially in racing. That hundredth of a second, that thousandth of a second can mean the difference between pole or the win. Here we go. We're starting off qualifying. M. Reed now starts the first lap. Heading on into turn one. The right-hander here. Taking that wider line here. As we'll go from a bit more onboard camera here. To really show you these guys' lines. Anyways, through the first part of the S's into that longer right-hander, back to the left then, as we get ready to power it on through this little straight here. And on the power he is, you can hear that Lamborghini roaring in the background. There's that first 90-degree right-hander. Getting as much curb as he can. Second one, same deal. Get the curb, get all the way on the outside curb, stretch the track limits as much as you can. Now that right kink, and then this hairpin. That is going to be an amazing opportunity for overtaking. Maybe goes a bit deep there. Lock up. Did not look as pretty as he normally drives. Anyways, down this long straight with a little twist on it, into the right-hander, and then into, I like to call it the spoon. I call this the spoon corner. It's got a nice little spoon shape. Makes me want to eat some soup right now. Anyways, left again, and then down the straight into the fastest corner on the track. Sharp left-hander, high speeds, high downforce. It's all you can ask for. Difficult to overtake, but don't get me wrong, Fernando. And man, was that a beauty. Here he is, into the left, staying on the limit, just keeping it in track limits, I believe, into the chicane here. Right, left, on the power, and then to the right again to finish out this lap. Let's see where this puts him after we have a couple guys cross the line. Obviously, he goes P1. Time, not, there it is. It is a 2-minute .3, a 1:59.7 from Reed. So he's going to hold on to second place at the moment. Gonzalez currently has pole position here. You can see him in the white McLaren GT3 720S GT3. But yeah, as you can see in the bottom right corner, he hates ranch. I, on the other hand, love ranch. I would do a lot for some Texas Roadhouse ranch, I'll tell you that much. Anyways, Gonzalez, definitely you can see him closing the gap on this lap here. Maybe that first lap is almost like a semi-fast lap, semi-hot lap, a warm lap, some would say. The tires still aren't quite up to temperature, the brakes still aren't quite up to temperature, and you're getting back into that muscle memory from practice. So I expect either lap 2 or lap number 3 to be the fastest laps from these drivers. looks like Reed has a mistake there, and that's going to allow Gonzalez to get by. Will that cause any of his lap time? Just by doing that little swerve there. I don't think it will cause much, if any. Gets him into the first one. And then this second turn for the chicane into the right-hander. Let's see where this puts him. Here comes down the straight. Those green lights signify the end of the lap there. Boom. He's through a 1:59.38. The best lap he's set so far, folks. Like I said, that first hot lap is more of a warm lap. The brakes are still up to temperature, and you're still getting back into that muscle memory. Let's take a look at how we've had some changes here in the timing column. On the left, we have Gonzalez still in P1, but Rivera moves up to P2, Levernick up to P3, Kapelke into P4, and I'm not Jimmy, so not Jimmy in P5. Reed falls to P6. We go McLaren, Ferrari, McLaren, as Hutchinson comes up into the top 5. Lamborghini. So, first in the Legionnaires class is going to be Easton in the number 87 Mercedes. How does he compare to everybody else around him? Well, let's take a look. Easton, as you can see, is in 10th place, and the closest fellow class racer is Flores in 12th. Now drops to 13th. With a 21.377, Flores has, as he drops to 13th, and Easton with a 20.6. So almost a full second gap between the two. We'll focus more on that as qualifying continues here. We'll take a look at these Legionnaires coming to finish lap number 3. Gonzalez, Rivera, Levernick, your top 3 at the moment. Lap 3, here he comes. Gage Gonzalez, left, right, through that chicane, back on the power. Holding that tight right line, always going into the pits. He's done. He calls off the lap. I wonder why. I wonder why, you know. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why. Ain't nothing but a mistake. Some little Backstreet Boys there for you. Reed does not improve on his last lap. Goes 0.3 slower. Yikes. That's not what he wanted to hear. But he's going to push on for what looks to be a second lap. Gonzalez, Rivera, Kapelke, Lovern, and Jimmy, not Jimmy, are all in the pits. Gonzalez comes out. We'll see what it was for. Just new sets of tires and maybe some fuel. Maybe under feeling there to give himself those extra tenths of a second, hundredths of a second out of being a lighter car. Levernick, however, does go ahead and take P1 off of Gonzalez. So there's that. And his gap, almost a full second. Just over half a second, about 0.6 there. Doing some quick math for you guys. Or 0.5, 4.95 it tells me, the delta on the right. Just trying to be smart for y'all. Anyways, so just about half a second. And Levernick has pole. Still not the fastest Sector 3 though. The fastest Sector 3 still belongs to Gonzalez. Let's go ahead and take a look at the differences between the Centurion's sectors, shall we? So as you can see, Easton is the first Centurion. As you can see, that dark gray compared to the white background of the numbers, that tells you if they're in the Centurions, which is that dark gray, or the Legionnaires, which is the white. Yeah. So Centurions in the white, Legionnaires in the gray. Anyways, so 40.7 is the fastest Sector 1. Actually, it's not. It's pretty slow compared to his rivals. Rodano has a better, and Flores have a better Sector 1. So he makes up most of his time in the bottom 2/3 of the lap, or the last 2/3. I wouldn't necessarily say bottom. As we just hit under 5 minutes of qualifying, I'm going to take a quick break, get some water. I'll talk to you guys here in just a second. Alrighty, I return here as we go ahead and move to take a look at our current pole sitter in the Ferrari. Number 52. Look at that nice little blue tint to it, you know, I like it. What do you guys think about it? It's simple, but expressive, you know? I guess is the way that I would, with that little yellow, you know, the yellow mirrors, you know, the Ferrari yellow, gotta represent them somehow. They might get mad at us if we don't. Don't sue us. Please, Ferrari. Love your cars. Anyways, yeah, he's sitting across a top pole with about a half a second delta ahead of the rest of the field. So, a half a second faster than the rest of the field. Yeah, the Bricks Racing Ferrari. The best lap was a 1:58. Last lap was a 2:53. That was an out lap though, as he was coming out of the pits. Almost adds on minute, just about from when you put your lap out. So that shows that the pit loss is just about 45 seconds if you include the out lap. But who knows? He might have been taking it easier than you will in the race. Oh, whoa! Get sideways there. I know Japan has Tokyo, but we do not Tokyo drift on the racing circuit. Unless this is Formula Drift, which I'd be mistaken if it was. Pretty sure I'd be in the wrong lobby. But yeah. Well, that hurts everything. That hurts his momentum. Mentally, it hurts as well. And lastly, it hurts the tires. They get rough patches on them. And it's just all not fun. Anyways, he's going to go ahead and start another lap, I presume. The last one being a 2:01, so 4 seconds slower is what that spin caused, or that slide. It wasn't really a true spin. Let's see him come through turn 1 to try and improve as Gonzalez takes back pole position. Maybe sandbagging a little bit, some would say, to kind of invite them to push their hardest, to show them, to have them show their cards pretty much, and then go ahead and boom, smack it right back on and be like, nope, I'm the boss here. Anyways, let's take a look at the difference. 3/100ths of a second, almost 4/100ths of a second. So maybe not sandbagging. Maybe it's just, you know, a close battle, you know. Two guys putting in good laps. And, yeah, we'll see how it goes here. As we can see, he is catching up to some traffic, and the blue flag is waved and respected by Shim. Thank you for the amazing racecraft, for the great racecraft. That's always good to see when the guys are respecting one another on track. I mean, sure you want some of the drama, but all in all, you want to have a fun race environment, a fun and fair race environment. Anyways, Lovernick now continuing on to the spoon corner here. Left, out to the curb, bring it right back in, left again. Move it all the way out to that curb, down the straight, into that fast corner, that fast left-hander. 30R right there, I believe is the name. Anyways, for the race format, since qualifying has officially ended, everybody putting in their last times. The race format is 70 minutes, 1 mandatory pit stop, 4 tires. Fuel is optional, so if you're going to go heavy on fuel and not have as long of a pit stop, you can go ahead and take that option, or you can go light on fuel and then refuel as well while pit stop to go lighter, maybe we get faster per lap. Lovernick does not, he does improve up into the pole with a 1:58.7. Let's see where Gonzalez is. Here he comes into the spoon. Second part of the left, the number 13 McLaren. Last stop was a bit slow, maybe almost like a cool down, only by 2 seconds, so not a major cool down lap. Maybe just lifting a little bit on the straights. Here it comes into that fast left-hander, through it, gets the curbs, getting on the outside curb. And was that? Yes, it was a Mercedes in the wall in the background. He's going to push on anyways, right, left in the chicane. He needs to get 6/100ths of a second to get pole. Does he have it in him? Holds that tighter line as he comes towards the line, crosses the line. Is it enough? It is enough. He's on pole. He is on pole by 5/1000ths of a second. Wow. If this doesn't show you that we have tight racing here at Zealous, I don't know what will. Amazing. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top 3 in each class. In first place for the Centurions, we have Gonzalez, Livernick, Rivera. Those are your top 3 starting this race. Moving on to the Legionnaires, we have Morano, Easton, and Flores. Those are your top 3 for each of each class. Penalties are being handed out now for drivers that I stated earlier have penalties, which are, I'll go ahead and give you guys a refresher here. For the Centurions, Rivera 15 seconds, Livernick 15 seconds, and Pena 15 seconds. The top 3, all from last race, having their penalties. Legionnaires 15 seconds to Easton, 15 seconds to Yout, and 15 seconds to Collis. So these are this is kind of us evening the field with these seconds, you know. It's kind of just to bring it close together, get that fun racing for you guys to watch. Yeah. Anyways, like I said, 2 drivers join us from the reserve list due to the fact that we were missing 5 drivers tonight. So we'll have 36 drivers in the field. As you can see, we have 35 currently in the lobby, so we're missing one more person that was expected to be here. It is what it is. Still tons of people on track, tons of racing to be seen. Obviously, you can see this yellow number 1 right here. That shows you that they have not made that mandatory pit stop yet. When that goes green and there's a 0, then they've made their pit stop, and they're good to keep going for the rest of the race. What strategy would you guys go with? Go ahead, comment in the comments and all that. What strategy would you go with? Would you go with overload the fuel so you have the slower pit or the faster pit stop without having to refuel, or do you go lighter fuel, make it to that pit stop, refuel, and then make it to the end of the race? I think I would go with that refueling method, just because you'd have such a lighter car throughout the rest of the race, you know, or in the beginning of the race, so you can be more aggressive on the start when you guys are all as close as you're probably going to be for the rest of the race. That's my opinion there. I'd go with the double fuel route or refueling route. Tires are needed and refueling is optional. That's how our pit stops work, and there's a mandatory window, and it starts after the first 10 minutes. So the 60 minutes left in the race, after the first 10 minutes is when you can make that pit stop, and it's when you have to make that pit stop. No before, no after. After, that's when you get those not fun penalties. One minute to go here before the race starts. Like I said, penalties have been handed out. Just performance penalties. For people on the podium, get a 15-second penalty. Any other penalties awarded out besides those top 3 from last race are from either incidents or cutting the track, which I would never do, ever, guys. Trust me. Never cut the track. Always stay within the limits. Anyways, yeah. I'm expecting Gonzalez to really win this race. You know, if he can hold off Livernick for the first couple of laps, he was definitely faster once he really got into open air and showed his pace in qualifying. So we'll see how this goes. I'm going to go ahead and head down and get the spectator ready. Alright, here we take off for the formation lap. Lights on. It's a night race, baby. Everybody loves a night race. Just makes it that much more difficult and that much more thrilling to watch these guys go around in the darkness. As you can see, we can't see too much, from this view without the lights as we move in to a cockpit view. That might help us out a little bit. As you can see, we can see a bit better. This is almost like a nice little bright moon for these guys, so we'll see how it goes. As you can see, these guys warming up their tires, seeing what's going to happen. Another big factor that's going to help Gonzalez is he was not in that top 3, so he does not have that 15-second penalty when he's making his stop. So that might give him just what he needs to win this race. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and dogs and cats. I don't know if your dog and cat is watching, but if they are, shout out to them. The field is bunched up. Get ready to go into their double file positions in just about a sector. And get ready for this race start. As you can see, they're slowing down and accelerating rapidly. That's to warm up the brakes, warm up the tires, to get them at their peak or their optimal temperature window to give you the best performance without overworking them. It's a very difficult task to keep them inside that window during the race, or to get them there in general. Sometimes I'm just pushing too hard and overheat, or sometimes I'm trying to conserve and I'm conserving too much and I'm going under that temperature threshold. That's what that weaving is for, that you see Levernick doing behind Gonzalez here in that blue. That is what the weaving does. It really warms up those front tires. The rapid acceleration and and braking. The braking warms up the brakes, and then the rapid acceleration is for the rear tires. Here they go. They line up side by side. Gonzalez will be on the right-hand side in that white McLaren 720S. On the left, the blue Ferrari of Levernick. On the right in the second row will be the McLaren 720S at Rivera, and on the left will be the number 34 Porsche, driven by Pena. One last look at the top 3 from each class. Top 3 for the Centurions: Gonzalez, Levernick, Rivera. Top 3 from the Legionnaires: Moderno, Easton, and Rustin. Here we go, round to the final corner, waiting for that green flag to drop. Side by side, everybody throughout the pack. Let's go ahead and take a look through all them. Well, minus the one guy in the pits, but everybody else is in order, ready to race. Waiting for that green flag to drop. All line up. Getting in that last bit of tire preparation, lights on, waiting for that green flag to drop. The engines will be roaring as soon as that green flag does drop. Coming to the line. Getting through the grid for a standing start. Obviously, we do a rolling start here at ZRL Racing League. There it is, there it is, there it is. Green, green, green. Engines roaring, people moving. Oh, who is that? That is Rivera. It takes a dart off to the left, almost hitting Pena. Will it go 3 wide into turn 1? No, Pena backs out. Levernick now trying to close that gap, get a better exit than Gonzalez, and it looks like he does. That was a great exit right on the back of him as we head to the right and then back to the left in these S's. Levernick gets on a power a bit later than Gonzalez did there. That gap extends. Back to the left here to finish out these S's. Getting that curb, getting on that power. Oh, a bit of a slide, a little snap. That's not what you want to see if you're Levernick. Or absolutely not want to feel or do if you're Levernick here. A. Henry has a drive-through at the moment. As you can see via the DT on the side of his name. Let's see why. Do we see any major damage? He has his blinkers on, showing something isn't quite right with his car. Can we see anything? Oh, the back has some major damage. The front windshield is scuffed. These are not great signs. Some damage on the front as well. Maybe hit somebody, spun, hit a wall. I don't know, but I do not want to be the guy to find out, or who found out. Anyways, back up to the top here. Gonzalez extending the gap here. These two have really broken away though from the pack. Gonzalez and Leverett now about 0.4 of a second. Almost 1.4 tenths of a second away from the gap, or from the pack. Continuing down the order, Rivera holds third place off from Pena, and Pena stays in fourth. Kapelke in fifth, Dude in sixth, and Hutchings with the fastest lap as he just crosses the line. Oh, never mind, that's going down the order. To Reed, no. To Rustin. Keeps on going down. It's still, wow, fastest lap's being set by everybody, everywhere. Looks like it's going to settle with Dale Rodman. It is. Fastest lap so far of the race. Congratulations. Anyways, Larson all the way down here. I don't know if he did not qualify or just had a really bad qualifying effort, making his way through with those other group of cars here. Henry is now serving his drive-through penalty, but it's not early enough for him to serve his pit stop as well. It's not late enough for him to serve that pit stop as well. So this is going to hurt him. He's going to have to do 2 drives in the pits as he's doing that drive-through right now. Gonzalez and Levernick still inching away from the pack. Rivera trying to hold on for dear life, clinging to those two. Pena doing the same to Rivera. Kapelke here almost worried about getting attacked by Dude behind him in that Mercedes. They're pretty close. Will he make a move into the hairpin the next time through? I think that's the best overtaking spot on track. Let me know what you guys think, but I think we'll see the most overtakes there. Just like I think we're going to see the most overtakes into the chicane at the end of after Stowe Corner at Silverstone. But I was wrong. We saw most of them either into Stowe or the hairpins at the start of or towards the end of Sector 2. Scratch that. Dude is more worried about Hutchings behind him than he is about Kapelke in front of him. He got super close to him through that chicane, almost giving a little push through it. Let's see, to the right. And they're good. Back to the right for the double apex, the second corner. Good on the power, over the curb, and bring it back down. Left. Right. Get back on the power and then get to the left for these S's. One more time to the right. And then finally, one more time to the left to finish out the S section. We're talking about fastest lap, last lap. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at who has it right now. It is Levernick in that blue, navy blue Ferrari, number 52 car, chasing Gonzalez in number 13 McLaren 720S 4P1. As we can see, the pit window house now officially open as we have entered inside of the 60-minute pit window here. So now, everybody will have a green line when they have completed their pit. Until then, everybody must. It's a mandatory pit stop. You do not have to take fuel, but you must take tires. Here comes the end of lap 2. That gap though has extended, it seems, from Levernick to Gonzalez. as Gonzalez takes the fastest lap. Maybe pushing, trying to get that extra point on these newer tires. They're as fresh as they're still only 3 laps old. That's what I would do. I'd push early, try and break away, get that fastest lap. And just see if I can pull away for the rest of the race. But Rivera kind of on his own, you know, a one-man little strand on an island here. He's got the sea behind him and the sea in front of him. And by sea, he can see everything because there's nobody blocking his view. A stall position though in P3 there, as he got P3 or P2 in the last race, or P1 in the last race. He actually won the last race. I'm sorry, guys. It's been a long day. Piniello falls behind him, trying to make up that place. Kapelke in 5th. Dude, oh, is that a bit of a slide here? Let's go ahead and take a look. Right up on the bumper. Here comes that hairpin I was talking about. My favorite overtaking spot in the track. Braking, maybe trying to do a switchback here. Holding it tight though. Dude kind of parks on the apex. Can Hutchinson take advantage with the exit? Driving that Delta Sport and Protocharge Sim Sport McLaren 720S. Dude goes a bit wide, and that invites Hutchinson right back in it. These two guys battling for 6th place. Not only on track, but in class as well. Down into this quick left-hander. Dude going wide. Oh my goodness. What happened? Where did he go? Where is he? Where did he go? What happened? We can't... Wow. Just gone. See if we can find him here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not looking good though. I just don't know where he went. Wow. That's unfortunate. That's going to cost him for the rest of the race. Thankfully for Hutchinson's though, he has nobody under threat and does not have to worry about attacking anybody at the moment. He can just settle in, run his own pace, and catch up to Kapelke here. And the number 44, Lewis Hamilton's number, if you watch F1, ladies and gentlemen. Arguably one of the best drivers to ever race in the sport. Has 7 drivers' championships, tying the record with Michael Schumacher, who also has 7. He has the most race wins and the most poles in F1 as well. So a pretty impressive stat line for Lewis Hamilton in that number 44. Let's see if Peter Hutchinson can kind of get some of that energy, get some of those vibes, that quick racing vibes from Lewis Hamilton. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Legionnaires class here. Easton leads the Legionnaires class by quite a big margin. Not only 1 Centron's car, but 2 between him and his next Legionnaire opponent here, which is Rodano in 2nd, followed by Rustin Yao. That's your top 3, and these two are fighting for position here, and they're really close. Heading into the chicane, right, then back to the left, and then back to start the lap. Really close. Let's see what happens here. Will he go for a move into turn 1? No, the gap extends as they get out of the corner. Will he try to make a move into the hairpin? It's all up to his position and how close he is. Can he gain here through sector 1? Goes a bit wide almost for Rustin ahead in the Lamborghini. Yao chasing in the McLaren 720S. To the right. We're going to go back to the left and then to the right for the final time. And then to the left for the final time. Rustin may be sensing a bit of pressure here as he's not hitting his marks quite perfectly. Yeah, I probably could have gotten a bit more aggressive on the power there on that last one. Here we go, into the right. Now to the left. Or to the right again. Back to the right. Too far to really make a move here into the hairpin this time around. But he goes deep. Rustin goes way deep. Now they're almost side by side. He's going to tuck into the slipstream. Yao does. Will he go for a move here into the spoon? No. Backs out, and I believe that is smart. It's tough to go side by side here. Yeah, I'll finish second in Silverstone for the Legionnaires class. Hoping to repeat or improve on that result. Anyways, the gap there seems to be extending. We'll go ahead and take a look at Sharpenberry and Dude, two guys inside of the Centurons class. Pretty far down the order as of right now. Maybe they're playing a different strategy. Maybe they're trying to conserve their tires, go a couple of laps extra over the pit window. It's all up to chance. Anyways, so 5th place, round out the top 5 in the Legionnaires class, is Shim in that Lexus. The only driver in this entire field to drive a Lexus, and is performing pretty well inside that top 5 for the standings after race 1 and 4th at the moment. We'll see how it goes from here. Easton just kind of tagging along with Not Jimmy and some of these other Centuron class racers here, and the Canon Mercedes. Canon, great cameras there. You know, I used to use one all the time. And edit photos of cars from car meets and all that. Pretty good photos. Just hit me a DM via Discord here. Join. Speaking of Discord, go ahead and join the Zealous Racing League Discord, and we have an Instagram channel, Zealous Racing League. All of which keep you up to date on all things Zealous Racing League. And if you have not, hit that subscribe button just to keep yourself updated with what we do here and when our races are and any other videos we might post. Anyways, Easton tagging along with Not Jimmy there, the pink Lamborghini. Just tagging along, cruising, trying to keep that that separation between him and Moderno with 3. I repeat, 3 Centurons cars between them. That's a big number. Taking a look at these gaps in that Centurons class. Hutchinson, yet again, closing the gap to the number 5 driver in 5th place, Kapelke, driving that number 1 yellow McLaren. So McLaren on McLaren action here as we head down into the first corner. To the right, y'all. To the right again, kind of ruins the shot slide. Oh, but they're side by side. They touch! They touch, and he's spun! Kapelke gets spun. Oh no. That is not what he wanted to see at all. Where does he recover? He recovers in what seems to be 11th place. Yikes, that's not what he wanted to see. That will definitely be an incident report filed. Aw, man, just got that right rear quarter panel, spun him right around, facing the wrong way. Not fun, not good, not planned. We'll see what he can do to climb his way back up towards the top. During this race. Settles down into 10th place is his official place as they cross Sector 1. Hutchinson now is a dangerous man out there. After making that contact, spin him around. Dangerous man, number 1 wanted man here on the racetrack. Get me a wanted poster. Get me an outlaw. Get me a sheriff. Who wants the money for him? Alright. They might have some choice words for each other after this race. Penny, though, holding his own here in 4th place. Not really under threat by anybody or anything, except for maybe a bird. A bird might come attack him here, but we don't know. Rivera, same deal. Just looking forward, trying to increase his lap time, close that gap with the top 2. Which being said, the top 2 are absolutely blistering at the moment. Pace so fast, you'll blink and miss it. Livernick has taken back the fastest lap of the race, and that was on the lap before the one now. As they head on to yet another lap here. Lap number 8. Lap number 9 to be exact here. The gap is just about a second and 2/10, but not quite. Obviously with the fastest lap, meaning Levernick had closed in on one of those laps. Is he still closing in? Is he better on his tires than Gonzalez? All questions we do not know. Going ahead and taking a look at Nunez, the doctor of defense here, not really having to give out any medicine right now. No shots, no medicine, no prescriptions, no nothing. He's kind of on his own at the moment. Last year, Paul Ricard, the second to last race, round 7, I believe it was, fending off the champion, defending champion, in the Jaguar this year, but and it was Larson, Chris Larson, absolutely blistering pace all season long last year. It was a Mercedes on Mercedes battle, so no really disadvantage or advantage between cars, maybe difference between setups, but nothing more. And those two guys battled for the last 15 to 10 minutes after their during this rainy period. It was switching between rain, dry, and all that, pretty much the whole race. And it's made tricky conditions, and Nunez just went a bit deep into a corner, and Lawson took advantage of that and never gave the lead back. But yeah, he's on his own, cruising, doing his own thing. Same with Hutchinson's. Now, Portis, KP, under attack here from I'm Not Jimmy. Let's go ahead and take a look from his onboard. It's always fun to see those flames shoot out of the car when they downshift. If you don't think so, I'd beg to differ. Anyways, through the S one again, right, then left, then right, and then left. Doing a little side-to-side dance. The salsa. There's a yellow flag. I'm not exactly sure where on track, and I kind of want to focus on this battle. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It is ahead. It's ahead. Oh no. Who is that? I believe it to be. It is Rustin. K. Rustin was defending. And just maybe missed his breaking point. Oh, but he's going to come on track pretty dangerously in front of Shim. And the number 20 Lexus. Wow, that was not the most safe re-entry we've seen here in Zealous Racing League. That's for sure. Going back now to this battle between KP and Not Jimmy. KP has kind of slithered away here like a little snake, escaping the grasp just for now, as he is free of dive bomb range into the chicane. Easton, though, not far behind Jimmy at all, and in the Centurions or the Legionnaires class, not the Centurions. So maybe just being a bit respectful, holding off so he doesn't involve with the other class racing. Here we go now. Down the straight though, in the turn 1. Inching closer in that draft, in that slipstream. Into the right-hander. Brakes much later. But that might crucify his exit. And it does. You can see KP just gets a better exit there. Just based off of his entry. Slow in, fast out. And he definitely was fast out. Not Jimmy, on the other hand, was fast in, but not so fast out, which is really the key there in that first corner. That exit really sets you up for this whole S section here, which is most of the lap. But speaking of which, that puts him well under threat of Easton. He is tired, man. He is tired of being held up behind this guy. He is looking to make a move. Let's see what happens. To right-hander. Goes a bit wide, maybe. Back into the right again. On the power. Loses a bit of time there. Will he make a dive? No, sits back patiently, but not Jimmy. Goes a bit wide there, allowing him to come back in. Kapelke was spun earlier and has definitely closed the gap a bunch after he returned into P10, but it's not about the position, it's really about that gap. Managing the gap is the key. Just putting in your consistent laps, making that recovery drive. As we speak, though, I'm Not Jimmy pulls out as him and Easton were side by side there. Will that cost him time trying to make a move on KP into the chicane? To the right. Gets most of that curve to the left, gets over that curve as well on the power. And it's close. Nunez, as you can see, just up ahead on the road, just trying to keep that distance, keep that gap as best he can. As we take a look, Easton is right on the bumper, giving that wing a little sniff almost, and oh no. Oh, Jimmy goes wide there. Not what he wants to see when he's trying to track down a pretty fast driver in KP there in that Acura. I don't know how you guys would strategize this race, but I would almost go for, depending on where I was, if I was in the middle of the pack, I would go for way underfuel the car, put about only like 10, maybe 12 laps of fuel in the car at most, and then go in and get tires when fill up on fuel for the rest of the lap, or for the rest of the race that I'll need, and just dig, burn through that fuel for the rest of the race. So pit like well before anybody even thinks about it, and just see if you can get that undercut, see if you can get into that free air to make it work here. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a big lunge. They touch, he's spun. Jimmy has been spun by Easton. Oh my goodness. Oh, he's got to be furious about that one. That is not even somebody racing in his own class making that lunge on him and causing the spin. As we were speaking about pit stops, though, Kapelke comes in. No penalty, no drive-through. He is coming in. He's doing the strategy I was talking about. Come in early, underfuel the car, get on those tires, and get back out there, refueled, ready to finish the race. So the crew goes to work there. Easton, though. Easton is the one that spun, not Jimmy. They'll definitely have some choice words, because that is non-class racing there. Most of these guys will just shake it off, shrug it off, but like, it's still infuriating. Everybody knows it. Well, that relieves KP as or Cobra from most of his if any of the pressure that was behind him. Now he's got a big gap, trying to crack down, close that, shrink it on up to Nunez. Peter Hutchinson's holding 5th place at the moment, who had spun Kapelke. So we got a couple of outlaws here on the racetrack. Pena in a land of his own. Like I said, an island. He was on that earlier too. He's staying there. It's a pretty good island. has an all-inclusive resort for one on there. All alone and doing just fine. No pressure behind, just trying to close that gap in front, which is Rivera, sitting in third place. As we can see, somebody else is pitting. It's Sue. He is in the Legionnaires class in that 720S, number 26. Anyways, Rivera now trying to close down on, that is Larson, who's not having a good race. Gonzalez and Levernick have switched places, and Levernick has the fastest lap. These guys will be fighting. These guys have good pace, and these cars, very, very similar to the Ferrari, the McLaren, the way they handle, the way they accelerate, their top speed, etc. See how it goes for them as they head into that hairpin. Oh, Gonzalez maybe goes a bit deep there, just a tad too late, like maybe 3 meters later on the brakes, and it's going to cost him there. As you can see, the guy's flying into the spoon corner. That's a beautiful angle. I really love that angle, how they come through and come around in that spoon corner. It'll be interesting how these top two handle their pit stops. Will they go, will one react when the other goes in, or will they go separate and really split strategies here? Another thing you could do if you're at the, what I would do if I was leading the race, I would do the exact opposite of what I said earlier. Go long on these tires, switch to the soft, or just switch at later in the pit window when it's almost empty or almost out, and get on those soft, fresher tires so you have the fast laps at the end of the race. Obviously, it depends on if you can fall into a gap with free air. That's a big factor, especially in these S's. It's hard to keep your downforce on the car while going through the S's. So everybody knows heat rises up, so the hot air coming off the exhaust of the other car can hurt and kind of work against your downforce. Let's go ahead and continue to have a look down the track as Rivera now looking at the lapped traffic of Lawson. And that number 2 Jaguar, the only Jaguar on the field as well. Maybe that might be a factor in his speed, his pace. We'll see. He pulled over to the side now, letting Rivera come through nice and clean. Good sportsmanship, good racing there. Penny now, once again on his own island, just chilling, just cruising. Got Puerto Rico E-Racing Club Porsche. Nunez still on his own island, but has a threatening pack of 3 right behind him in Cobra, KP, Easton, and Reed. This little group of 3, this little trio here is quick, and they've shown it. They've had some close battles between each other, and some not so fun result battles to different other people. Anyways, I'm not Jimmy, who did get spun and was displaced pretty far down, has made a recovery all the way up to 10th. Obviously, pit stops has affected this. A person who has made their pit stop is Kapilke, and he got spit up into 28th place, or 27th place, my bad. And in a pretty good gap of free air. He has got Pino in front of him, but he still has a good gap, just enough to get that draft, not enough to really affect the downforce, and he'll probably overtake him in a lap or two. Another driver who is taking, oh look at this, JP Belanger fighting with the Audi of Dijkstra after making his pit stop. it's not. That is not Luke. That is not JP J, guys. I apologize. That is Pangos, who is now being attacked by JP Belanger. As you can see here, JP is through. In the pits now, though, is Burr from the Centurons class, Alberts from the Legionnaires, and Sue from the Legionnaires in the pits right now. Let's take a look at Kompelki here, overtaking somebody in the Legionnaires class. Nice and easy, job done. Got a couple guys doing their own thing, you know. Just rocking, moving forward and backwards. Richard McSharpenberry, who had a drive-through in the last race, is what I remember. Doing okay, sitting here in 14th. 11th in class, so just outside the points at the moment, but he can try and fight and get his way in there. Levernick and Pena in the pits. Levernick holding that fastest lap, so Gonzalez is going to continue on, at least for one more lap. There he has, as Pena passes Levernick and heads to his stall. Reed, Easton, Cobra, Nunez, Hutchinson, Rivera, and Gonzalez are all gonna improve, I guess, or take advantage of that. He's gonna go around the lap car here. Almost touched him, a little close. Whoa! Was that a little moment there down that straightaway? Interesting to see. Anyways, this is the moments where you really have to push, really have to get your laps right to see if you can the overcut or the undercut will work. It's important, especially for these top positions here. Will Gonzalez go in and pit and respond this lap? Oh no, who is that ahead of him? Somebody in the dirt, in the grass, and then into the gravel, up against the wall. But it's time to see if he will respond here. Gage Gonzalez through the chicane. The pit entrance is on his right. He's going to hold that tight line, and he's in. He's in the pit entrance. Let's see how this ends out for him. Slow down to pit lane speed. Levernick with the fastest lap. Starting sector 2. Just in the start, into the second corner of sector 2. Will the undercut work? Will he be able to hold the lead here? It's going to be close. Get your popcorn ready. Oh no. A big penalty there for Shim. An SG30. A stop and go for 30 seconds. Yikes, what happened there? You heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. We are at that halfway point of the race. And it looks like Gonzalez holds on. And not by a little bit, but by a lot. As he's almost into sector 2. Levernick did not even, maybe had a mistake, maybe was pretty slow in his outlap on those cold tires. We'll see if he can close it right back up to Gonzalez, but it doesn't look likely. He seems to have the gap, though. The overcut seems to have worked here. And he'll have fresher tires for the rest of the race. Ricardo Rivera, a driver who I believe has not pitted yet as well. Holding on 9th place. I think maybe he has pitted. So Levernick definitely had some sort of mistake. Maybe oh, the 15-second time penalty. There it is. The 15-second time penalty that he had, the competition penalty. That's the big reason for the loss. My fault, ladies and gentlemen, for not understanding that earlier. Gonzalez does not have that penalty due to his finishing position last race. The top 3 have that penalty. Anyways, up at the top, Nunez and Hutchinson are in. Nunez was all alone in that free air. Where will he come out? Will he come out in free air? Will he come out in traffic? And how will he perform if he comes out in traffic compared to if he comes out in free air? Here he is. He's released now. We'll see if he comes out in that traffic or in free air. Rivera goes. It looks like some free air. Rivera behind. Oh, Pena behind. In that 34 Porsche. So clear ahead, but under pressure from behind. The doctor of defense, let's see how he works here. On these cold tires. Holds them off pretty good. The real test will be into the hairpin. Here they go. Right again in these little 90-degree corners here. Under the bridge. You gotta love the sound of a car under a tunnel. Anyways, is he close enough to go for a move? Braking later, but no, not close enough. As we can see behind, Kapelke and that McLaren number 1. Attacking, I'm not Jimmy. This is really close here to the spoon. Another good overtaking opportunity is the chicane, which will come up right after the really fast R30R. Right here, this left-hander. That Porsche when it hits this gear is an amazing sound. Oh no, he goes way wide. Way wide. Too aggressive. Maybe couldn't see his braking marker as he was so close to Nunez here. Will that give him a penalty? We'll have to see. They are coming up on some lap traffic here, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. This is another great angle as they come through these S's here. Boom. All these cars so close together in this racing action here. Nunez now to get around the lap traffic. Oh, and he's going to stuff Pena. Pena goes in the grass. He doesn't even care. The lawnmower just blows right past the lap traffic. He was not waiting for that for an opening. And how is it going to cost him? Will it cost him at all even? Farther away from Nunez than last time. Coming to visit though for another checkup with the doctor of defense. As you see, Cobra get through that lap traffic as well. Much more smoothly than on Pena. So your current leader of the race is still Gonzalez, with Levernick in P2. A decent ways behind. Can he close this gap with 30 minutes left to go in the race? Just under. Almost a full sector's gap. That official delta is 10 seconds. A couple of people left to pit in the Legionnaires class. Easton and Murdano are definitely two that have not pitted yet. The gap between them is a fairly large gap. Levernick still holding on to that fastest lap. The gap between them, like I said, stays about 10 seconds here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the standings in each class. The Legionnaires class, led by Easton and Murdano, but those two have not yet pitted. In third for their class is Rustin and Flecker and Yao, the top 5 for the Legionnaires class. Top 5 for the Centurions is Gonzalez, Levernick, Hutchinsons, Rivera, and Nunez, the Doctor of Defense. Let's see how he is holding out here. And if we can find him here, ladies and gentlemen. There he is, ladies and gentlemen, holding off Pena pretty well. Trying to get through this Audi, who was lap traffic. Audi pulls off. And he lets Pena through at the same time. Maybe that shrinks that gap just a bit more. Looks pretty close. Maybe in 2, maybe 3 laps time is that time if you keep closing that gap to go for that move. Really close here as they head into the tunnel. I would argue this is close enough to make a move here. On the brakes. Going for a wide line, maybe a switchback here. If so, it did not work. Nunez hangs on for another lap. Looks to hang on for another lap. To the left, through the spoon, down the straight. Maybe take a chance here into the chicane. You've seen a attempt at a move be done there. Not so successful attempt as he just took out Kapelki. Left now. No move there. A little too far back. Respectable. Trying just to increase that line. Close that gap as they head down. Nunez survives for yet another lap. Cobra pulling away from I'm Not Jimmy. Reed behind. Then Kapelki. So go ahead and take a look at this fight. Right. Oh, so Easton still has not pitted, but Murdano did. What is the gap between those two now? about 30, a bit more behind. Oh no, oh no, oh, a big snap. He snapped to the right and goes straight into the wall. Easton, the race leader, not only for the Legionnaires class, but for the whole race, hits the wall. Big damage on his front end. Oh no. No, no, no. What happened? What happened there? He can barely turn to the right. The suspension is ruined. He's going to stay in the grass and try and limp it back to the pit lane. Oh no, he's stopping. He returns to the garage with retirement. That is sad to see there, but it's racing, folks. With that, Gonzalez is going to inherit the lead. Levernick to P2, Hutchinson to P3. Wow, just into that fast corner. Maybe he just got a bit oversteering, over-adjusted. Goes flying through that gravel and smack straight into that wall. Ugly, ugly scenes there. Levernick, though, still with that fastest lap, trying to close that gap. It's under 10 seconds now. He's enclosed that gap by 0.2 of a second over the last, I want to say, 4 minutes. Will he? It won't be enough, though. If he continues at this rate, he has to pick up the pace. He must pick up the pace to get there and have a chance at the win. As we come just before 20 minutes remaining, just above here, your top 3 in the Centurions, Gonzalez, Levernick, Hutchinson's. Your top 3 in the Legionnaires, Mardano, Flecker, and Rustin. It has not been a good day for Easton as he just crashed in the fast left-hander before the end of the lap, before that chicane. Either had a snappy oversteer moment or just too much power there. And send it straight into the wall, through the gravel, through the grass, smack, front end ruined, suspension ruined, race over. As you can see him sitting here. Another race that has not gone to plan is Pangos' race in the number 129 Mercedes with that 30-second stop and go. Shim also had a 30-second stop go, but has seemed to cleared it there in 26th. So not doing bad. 26th is currently 10th place in class. 10th place in class after a 30-second stop go penalty. I'd say a successful race all in all. Showing good pace. Easton still in the pit lane after that crash. You think he's retiring? That's frustrating. It's not how you wanna fight for the position at the very least if you give it up. Oh, as we speak, there's another driver off. That is Nick Pangos off and into the wall. Yikes, yikes, yikes. And he has that 30-second stop-go penalty. Kapelke was spun and into the gravel at one point in this race and was spit back out, I believe, into 12th place. Has made his pit stop already and moved up into 10th place here. A great effort from him in that McLaren. 10th place in class, 10th place in the race. I'm not Jimmy closing in on Cobra in that Alpha Sim Sport Honda NSX. He sees him behind in that rear mirror. To the right, to the left, on that power, in first gear, into second gear, up to third, and they're going to continue to go up through those gears down that straightaway. Here is the view from I'm Not Jimmy. Sixth gear, the final gear in these cars, shifting down to fourth, brings it back down to third, back to all the way down to second, and back on the power as 26 lap completed for those two. Reed not far behind, hoping for a little bit of a battle here, bring him right into the race, bring him nice and close for a good fight and for a position gain. Up in the race, it is Pena making another attempt to get past Nunez here. Nunez, as you guys know, is the doctor of defense. Is Pena coming in for a routine checkup, or is he coming in for a special, maybe some sickness, some illness here? There's a lap car in the way, and it's going to stay really, really, really in the way. Wow. Not great awareness from that lap car there. He's going to pull up to the side, and he's still going to be fighting as Pena is coming down the straightaway. What is going on there, folks? That is not what Pena or Nunez wanted, for that matter. It ruined Nunez's line into the corner. Bigger effect on Pena, though, sadly. Ricardo Rivera here in fourth place on his little island. Just chilling, you know. Setting laps, closing that gap. Two driver ahead, which is Hutchinson, who is in the chicane right now, heading to complete his lap. Very interesting race here. A lot of mistakes, a lot of crashes from these drivers here. Suzuka is a very, very tricky track. Tight, fast, pretty flat all in all. But it's just tricky. It's like I said, it's really tight, really fast, and these S's especially are tight, quick, hard to really perfect. And perfection is what you shoot for, obviously, in anything you do. So it makes it hard to compete for most guys, and other guys excel. It really depends on your style of driving. If you're an aggressive guy, you like to really push the limits with the setup. It might cause you to have that little spin, have that crash, whatever. Or if you're a more conservative guy, you're slow in that straight line, but have that downforce, it's really going to benefit you in that S's area. With that left, right, or right, left again as they go out. Hutchinson's, just setting good pace. The closest car behind him is Rivera, with a decent margin, so he's not worried about too much. Sean Collins there with the ZRL livery, beautiful livery for the record. The ZRL Season 12 is his team name. Here we go. He is 9th in class today. Pretty good result, all in all. Levernick now in second, still trying to close that gap to Gonzalez. It's down to 8 seconds. It was 10 seconds just a few laps ago. Will he have enough time to close that gap, though? Is Gonzalez holding out, trying to conserve those tires so when Levernick gets there to really accelerate and put up a big fight, or to just resist and pull away, all in all? We'll see what happens, and does he even close that gap in general? Levernick now got pole in the first race, ended up finishing second after some sort of incident that had him some damage. I didn't catch it on the stream, but did not seem to be an incident within their car. If so, we think we'd have more damage on other cars, which I could not see. But damage free it seems to be this race, so just trying to push on and close that gap ever more. That gap to, of course, the race leader, Gage Gonzalez. Coming down into that fast left-hander where we've seen a couple of guys struggle with. How does he handle it? He handles it like it's routine. I mean, they are 28 laps in through that. Now, oh, who is that ahead of him? Roadman in the Legionnaires class just totally cut the chicane. Lawnmower mode, right through the grass. I guess you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, am I right? If you're not cheating, you're not trying. But, yeah, just a lock up there, some other mistake. But he is trying to get Flores there in that McLaren. In that white and green livery there. Pretty good livery if I do say so myself. I like a simplistic livery, you know, just two colors, your sponsors and all that. I do tend to like the darker color liveries, you know, like a black mixed with a red, a black with a blue, a black with like a bright little pop standout color. Is definitely the way I like them. I like my uniforms, my liveries, all that way. Really closing that gap though on that time through. Oh no! Oh no, he's been hit. Flores gets hit and goes off into the wall. Who was that? That was Gage. Gage, the race leader, had no time to deal with the blue flags. He moved him out the way quick. Levernick is closing in quickly too by 4/10 on that last lap. He's trying to really extend that gap, I guess, or hold it off, defend that gap for as long as he can, as we have just about 10 minutes left to go in this race here. Wow, that was just... Maybe he thought he was going to move out the way, or maybe he thought he had a bit more space, but whatever happened, hit him in the back, spun him into the wall. Not nice. Looking for any battles to really see here. There's not too close of a battle between anybody at the moment. Nobody really going sideways, side by side. Nothing, yeah, nothing on that side. It's a pretty relaxing race right now. We had a couple slip-ups. Kapelke making his way through after being spun. So we'll see if any extra penalties are handed out for next week after all this. Well, speaking of trying to find a battle, it's I'm Not Jimmy versus Cobra, KP. See how it works here. Holes off to the left, threatening to make that move into this quick left-hander. I think a better opportunity would be the chicane that comes after. Oh no, and he goes wide. Oh, I can't tell you how many times we've seen that today. Going wide into there and having mistakes in that corner. It's a very tricky corner. You don't quite have to brake, you just have to lift. But if you do lift too much, you lose a bunch of time. If you lift too little, obviously things like that happen. You go wide. Moving forward in the pack now, Pena looking to get another attempt at Nunez. These guys were battling all day for 5th place in the Centurons class. Nunez, the doctor of defense. I know I've said it multiple times. I'm going to say it again. He is legit with his defending here. Just holding off. Just holding his own and just managing that position, holding it well. As you take a look at the distance from Pena's angle, from that interior, you can really see that he's not quite close enough to make a move on this time through. I mean, he's really just hoping for a mistake. If anything, speaking of which, he has a snap of oversteer there. Has to adjust. Too far back to make a move here as they are heading up on Shim, I believe that is ahead of them. It is fifth in the Centurions class there. Once again, guys, if you don't know, the white background behind the number means that they're in the Centurions class, our faster class of racers, and the gray behind the number means that they're in the Legionnaires class. Most of these guys that are currently performing really well. We're doing really well in the Legionnaires, and they get moved up. It's almost like a minor league system for baseball. If you know how that works, you got teams that are below the major leagues that look at the prospects, look at the new guys, and evaluate them, and then perform on their own games and all that. And eventually, if they perform well, if they get called up, it's almost like a little call up there. Nunez now really closing in on that lap car of Shim. He's going to pull off to the side as we see there, and he goes right on by. No problems at all. That's how you do it. That's how you respect blue flags, people. Take notes. I'm pretty good at it. Don't ask how. Anyways, Nunez continues through turn 1 here. Pena just too far away to really make anything happen, I believe, on this lap. Moving forward in the field, Rivera still on his own little island, but is closing in on Hutchins ahead in that 44 McLaren, who is guilty of spinning Kapelke. Leverdick now, let's take a look at that gap between him and Gonzalez. It's down to 7.6 seconds. It is closing and closing fast, about 4/10 of a lap. At this pace, he will get there, just maybe, in time for a fight before the end of the race. As to see if Gonzalez makes a mistake, though, he will pounce and gain time for sure. In the meantime, a couple of lap cars to get through before he gets up to Gage Gonzalez in first place. When you have a race like this with an endurance kind of standpoint over these longer periods of time, you don't have a lot of aggressive lunges or aggressive moves. Obviously, we've seen some wrecks and spins and all that today, but normally you don't see that as much because there's more time. They have time to make the move. They have time to close that gap, and that really shows compared to like public lobbies when you have 25-minute races really is your maximum. Those really get chaotic here. As we return to this battle between Not Jimmy and Cobra. Jimmy trying to get that 7th position off of him. A bit of a gap right now. Let's see what he can do. Can he close this gap through Sector 1? Listen to those engines roar, folks. Beautiful sound. Through the S's now, and he's on him. He just has to get a good exit here. Opting for a bit of a different line. Obviously, with the difference in track temperature and in the night, it really changes the racing line. But like the racing line really does change because you have to take different angles to get your tires in that right temperature. As we speak, the pit lane window is closed. 5 minutes remaining. This is a close and packed race between these two for sure. Under 5 minutes to go. Will we see some lunges? Will we see some moves? Some more opportunistic opportunities than we have so far in this race. Nothing really happening this lap though, so we're gonna have to take a look at this battle here between Pena and Nunez. These guys have been fighting all day long. The doctor of defense, you guys are probably getting bored of me saying it, just doing his job, prescribing the medication they needs, and Pena not really eating those apples to keep the doctor away. Could use a couple more of those. I could go for an apple right about now. Yeah, just holding on, just keeping that gap, maintaining it, maintaining that position, the important things while racing. Rivera, though, is closing on Hutchins. He's been doing this for a couple of laps now, and really, you're starting to see it. As you can see him right in front, you can see him, and I'm pretty sure Hutchings can see him in his rear view too, which is not what you want when you're just trying to focus on what's ahead of you. That distracting, moving thing in the back, yeah, not fun to have. Trust me. Not too much else going on the track besides these battles here. We'll take a look at this gap here. It's maintained about a 7.6, so maybe Levernick was just starting to use up those tires a bit too much, really trying to over push them when they've hit their limit. They're just on the start. It's a 7.5, so it's down by a tenth, but there's just too little time here. Gonzalez seems to be in a good position to take this win. Su has been in the pits for a while. I think he is retired. There it is. Hutchings down the inside. That is a lapped car. Rivera trying to find his way through it too. And that is not how we wanted it to end. The lap car is still there. The blue flags are being waved for him, as you can see there on that flagpole. There's no way he stays. Yeah, he brakes early, lets him through. Not a picture perfect ending to that, but it's better than a crash. Oh, speaking of a crash, Dykstra is in the grass. Sean Collins come around this corner, and Dykstra's going to rejoin. Don't know what caused him to be in the grass, but he was in there, that's for sure. And that is Nick Pagos again in the grass here. He's one of the newer guys we have in this league, just learning the tracks, learning the game. It's great to see these guys grow and learn here with us. You know, you get that almost fatherly type feeling watching these guys really expand in knowledge, speed, and yeah, just all the things racing. I'm not Jimmy, not closed in enough on Cobra to really make a move. I think Cobra has that position locked in P7. Moving up in battles here, it is Pena right on the back. Will he go for a move? He backs out. He backs out. Just not willing to take that risk. Maybe he thinks he can get one more lap. I don't think he has another lap in the cards. He is right on the back of him. Now is the lap. He has to go. He has to go, and he has to go now. I don't think there's enough time for another lap. There might be one more. There is one more lap after this one, folks. So will he make the attempt there on this next lap? Or will he make it here coming in to the chicane, which I think is arguably the best one because it really can affect your opponent's exit if you do the overtake right. To the left. They both go a bit wide, but he's not close enough. He was so close into that hairpin, but didn't go for it. That's where I would have gone for it if I was in his position. Here we are on the final lap, though. These two fighting tooth and nail for 5th position here. Pena finished 3rd place in the last race and had that 15-second competition penalty. That is what's causing him to be in this fight right here. But nonetheless, a still great finish position, P5 or P6. Oh, he's way close there. Goes deep and sliding. He's sideways. Wow. I think that ruined his chances. Not getting that, just trying to be too aggressive, get too much out of that corner, and I think it's done for him. He's just too far to reach now. Let's go ahead and take a look at this battle though on this final lap here. It's I'm Not Jimmy versus Cobra. They're nice and close, really fighting tooth and nail like the last group was. I'm Not Jimmy has been pretty consistent and very disciplined with his lines and where he's taken his overtakes and where he's taking his peaks at. There's this final lap. His final chance is on this lap. Will he make the move here? Much better through that for that first right-hander, and a bit better on that second one. Is he close enough? Inching closer in that draft too. Is he gonna pull out to the right? He's gonna know. He's gonna go the long way around. Maybe go for a switcheroo. But Cobra parks on the apex. Good defense there. leader finishes the race. It's Gonzalez with the race win, ladies and gentlemen. Levernick will come in to finish P2 here. As you can see, those two have finished with that checker flag next to him. Let's go ahead and take a look at this race, though. This battle here. Shim in front should not play a factor, that lap car ahead of Cobra there. I think he's too far to reach to make a factor here. I'm Not Jimmy takes a bit wide line there, maybe on the power just a bit too early. And it seems Cobra is out of reach as well. You can see the fireworks going off in the distance, folks. Signifying the race is over. Cobra is way too far ahead for a lunch here. On the brakes, into the corner. Cobra is going to come home in 7th place. P7 goes to Cobra there, followed up by I'm Not Jimmy as they come across the line right now. Let's take a look at your top 10 in each class. The top 10 of the Centurion's class: Gonzalez, Levernick, Hutchings, Rivera, Pena, Nunez, Portis, I'm Not Jimmy, Reed, and Kapelke. The top 10 for the Legionnaires: Murdano, Flecker, Yao, Rustin, Burr, Alberts, Flores, Fender, Shim, and the rest to follow. Race is over. We have a couple guys not finished yet, but these guys are all the points. Although they are fighting for class points here. Let's take a look at these guys, shall we? Coming across the line now. Race is now officially over. So let's take a look at these results. Gonzalez wins. Shout out to Gonzalez with the win here. Levernick in P2 for the 2nd week in a row with fastest lap this time. So, thank you guys for everybody showing up and racing. Let's go ahead and roll it one more time through these top 5 per class, or top 10. Gonzalez in 1st, Levernick in 2nd, plus extra point for fastest lap. In 3rd, Hutchings. In 4th, Rivera. In 5th, Pena. In 6th, Nunez. In 7th, Portis. In 8th, Not Jimmy. In 9th, Reed. And 10th, Kapelke. And then for the Legionnaires class, in 1st, Murdano. In 2nd, Flecker. In 3rd, Yao. In 4th, Rustin. Just missing out on the podium there. In 5th, Rodman. In 6th, Alberts. In 7th, Flores. In 8th, Fender. In 9th, Collis. And 10th, Shim. We will have an updated standings here in a couple of hours, so I'll give you an update on that information before the next race. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a good night here. For anything Zealous Racing League, please follow us on Instagram and join the Discord. Should be in the bio here in YouTube. And shout out to our sponsors once again, SimGrid and Advanced Sim Racing. Thank you guys. Have a good night. One more thing before I sign off, people. Big shout out to the winner here, which is Gonzalez. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Like I said, please follow the Instagram, Zealous Racing League, and join our Discord to stay updated on all things Zealous. I hope everybody has a good night, and I'll see you next week.
To stay here on the ground, it's overrated. The city's getting escape escapes you with a sound. It's delineated. I waited at the station for an hour, but I won't make it to take off on an updraft by each hour, and you overtake it every moment. I see you on the rise. You're drawn across the sky. Now that ink has dried, and I can't tell you why. Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? Oh, Mimi, can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? And I can't tell you why. Oh, I can't tell you why. Why you have to stay on the ground? It's overrated. The cityscape parades you with a sound. It's delineated. No one here has even learned your name, but they all claim that they saw you land and land to do the same, but they won't make it every moment. I see you on the right. That ink has dried, and I can't tell you why. Can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? Or maybe can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? And I can't tell you why. Before. Or maybe can you tell me there's an issue? I've seen it clouded all around you. Why can't you tell me there's an issue you've seen before? And I can't tell you why. I can't tell you why.